All right, what's going on? It's Bobby Skinner, Giants Nation, with your first free agent film breakdown of the 2026 season. Isaiah Likely, the tight end from the Ravens, comes over with John Harbaugh. This guy's a weapon, right? 6'4". He is a tight end, but the reality is he's very rarely lining up at Y inline tight end, right? You want to pair him with somebody. Right now, that's Theo Johnson, but he's more of a flexed out slot, right? You're gonna, bring him in line. You don't want him blocking a ton in line, but you do want him blocking in space. We're gonna go through all of that. We're going to see how his speed allows him to get chunk plays, how he works in the quick game, and then go through the blocking game and his ability to, create chunk plays off of creation as well. Like and subscribe. That's the way to make these successful. The NFL has stopped letting us monetize film breakdowns. It's honestly terrible that they do that to small creators, but these are so important to like and subscribe and grow this channel because we are the number one spot for New York Giants football. So hope you guys enjoy. I'm Bobby Skinner. Like and subscribe. So first play, we're going to go through just the overall speed, right? Going through some of these crossers. So first play, we're lined up here. This is more of a slant, as I have the wrong line drawn. More of a slant. Oh my gosh, we are really screwing up here. More of a slant right here. So let's run it. Versus zone coverage, right? Versus zone. That's pretty simple, right? Not a lot of nuance to it. Right, we're tempoing, we're reading. This DB is playing outside leverage. Break it off here. Don't allow him to get hands on you. The linebacker widens. Lamar puts it right behind him. Easy. Right, that one's not that crazy. But now we're going to see some of the deeper crossers. So, this next play lined up here. Play action. This is something the Giants are going to want to get to. Gets that crosser. Linebackers have a hard time hanging with that. So this is something the Giants are going to want to do. Get into two tight ends formations, right? Again, Isaiah Likely is not your true blue tight end. He's more of a flexed out, but you're going to bring him in line, and you're going to want to have an effective run game, right? That's going to be a big part. And then the play action on top of that, right? So you get to stack the box. You bring some heavy bodies, linebackers playing. You've got that run action. You see these linebackers pull up, and then these cats can't hang with the speed of Isaiah Likely. Right, we're not breaking down crazy nuance or anything. This is just a guy with speed. The quarterback's got to hit it with the right window. Chunk play. This one, he doesn't get the target, right? This is your more base personnel. Lamar ends up taking the sack on this. Lined up here, but just shows here against Minka Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick has outside leverage. Right, he has that outside leverage, so we don't want to allow him to fight into our inside hip pocket. So instead of a normal crosser would be, something like this. We're just going to break this off flat. Oh my gosh, I drew the lines incorrectly. Sometimes that happens with the way the camera moves with the play. We're going to challenge vertically, tempo, plant with that right foot, go, and separate. Again, he doesn't get the target because Lamar gets sacked. Here, this play we all remember. Lined up here. This is, one of the last plays of the season, the last plays of John Harbaugh being the Ravens head coach. So you see the crosser, and you're going to see him make the big leap too. Right, you're going to get this versus zone coverage. So he's just finding his way through, avoiding any reroute from this linebacker, get behind this one. He can't hang with that speed and just run across him. Ball hangs up there a little bit. Safety tries to make a play. Go up, leap, get it. He's got a really nice ability to attack the ball. Go high point that football. DB trying to make a play. Nope. Here against another game versus Steelers. Versus man coverage. Outside leverage. Like we said, don't round this one out as much. Make it more of a deep slant. Plant your foot. Go. Want to get behind this robber safety. Lamar gets it behind him. Got to really extend for that one right here. See the speed. Take off. Great hands catch. Big play. Again, versus the Steelers, right? This time motioned in. They're going to switch they're going to banjo their coverage, or switch their coverage, man coverage. All right, the motion gets him out leveraged. Here we go. We've got this linebacker underneath. Right? Having that speed to get into that window makes a difference, right? That's the difference between this guy making a hit on Lamar and not being able to pull that throw off, or forcing it and throwing an interception. And this is my favorite play of his just because it's so disrespectful. Right, so we fit it behind this window of Patrick Queen. Love that, right? But we just saw his speed, violence. Bam! You're going to put a corner on me? Bam! Put his ass into the dirt. Bring that ball down to the 4 and disrespect him. And then there's other things, right? Lined up here. This is going to be simple. They're going to be in cover 3. And we're just going to run verts, right? So we're going to run a vertical here. And it's on this safety to play his to match this. Instead of matching this vertically, he ends up taking it to the flat. You have this corner takes the deep half, and then their safety. They end up rotating their safety, so Hamlin's going to roll down. This safety's going to roll to middle of the field. Take advantage of those coverage rotations with his speed, right? So that's going to leave a hole right here. Speed, up the field, makes a play on it. I mean, hell, if he doesn't have to stop and turn around, you lead him. I mean, that might be 6 there. Here just running a corner versus man coverage. They didn't have him do a lot of this stuff, and I think the Giants will expand his usage a little bit. Right, set it up. Right, watch that foot fire with the release. Bap, bap, bap. Get in there. You've got your leverage. You're releasing outside. Get some, some rub on this. Separate, ball just gets overthrown. And then stuff like, leak, right? You're going to run a lot of play action, 2 of tight end stuff. I'm hoping the Giants can get a fullback. So you got 2 tight ends, a fullback on the field, Derrick Henry, right? We want them to get aggressive on this run game, right? So we're going to fake the pitch, right? Get these linebackers up, leak them out there, get a chunk play. So make that easy catch. Go get some yak, right? I mean, any tight end can kind of make that catch. But how many tight ends are adding the yards that Isaiah Likely did to this, right? Doesn't take a special tight end. I mean, he's got good speed to get out here and not allow these guys to undercut this or anything. But Likely takes it to here. Or, the play takes it there. Likely is the guy who adds 28 yards on and turns it into a 36-yard play. This next portion where he's creating chunk plays, it has to do with the quarterback. It's through creation, right? Finding a soft spot, finding a play down the field when your quarterback is creating. And with a lot of quarterbacks, this segment would be useless. With Jackson Dart, it's such a huge part of his game, right? We did a whole episode on Jackson Dart a couple weeks ago. I went back and rewatched every throw, every deep throw, every third down. And you're reminded like how much a part of creation was a part of his game. And Isaiah Likely helps feed into that, right? You don't want to live off of that, but you can create some of your most explosive plays off that. So first play, we've got him lined up here, right? We're going to motion in. And essentially going to be a sail concept, right? So let me rewind. Right, it's a deep sail concept. All right, we got this corner here. There's nothing there for Lamar. Lamar, moves to the left. Likely recognizes. Lamar scrambling to the right, right? This is the practice. Well, where should Likely go? All right, well, we know this safety is going to probably cover Mark Andrews, and if not, Mark Andrews is going to get the ball. Dash for this area right here. And you get a touchdown, a fourth quarter touchdown in a game. Again, this is, there's a reason why they're running such deep concepts. This is a big play right here, right? This was the play before the drop that Mark Andrews had on the 2-point conversion to tie the game in the divisional playoff game. and likely make, comes up clutch. Here versus the Dolphins. Lined up here. We're just going to run a nice in route. Does a good job on it too, right? Slow play it. Versus zone coverage, it's not there, right? They run a high low over here. It's not there. All right, well, Lamar's scrambling. Why just run towards the sideline? Find the hole. The hole is right here. And then, like we said before, some guys can get into the, find open space. Isaiah likely adds these extra yards to it. Here against the Bengals, where are we lined up? We are lined up right here. Right, so it's going to be, this little, I believe this is a spot concept here. Run our route. Nothing there, right? Nothing there, right? There's like this stick with a wide receiver or running back wheel. Nothing there. Lamar's playmaking. Lamar's rolling to the left. Well, let me flip my hips and go, right? So that's speed, attack, go up, get that ball, create some chunk plays. So finding it in there. And then they didn't have him run a lot of quick game, and you can tell, you look at that in the numbers, he doesn't have a lot of volume. But he's pretty solid at it. All right, here we're going to run this return route. Right, it's a little here, fake here, and then back in. Just a good job setting it up, long developing because of the play. But a good job. And we'll get to this actually. Good catch. And then you get the yak, right? That's where the speed comes. Yak, yak, yak. You want to get that touchdown? Hold on to the football. We'll talk about that in a second. But we see we're lined up here. I guess the next play we'll see it a little better. Right? Go over top this linebacker. Quarterback steps up. Run away from the safety. Hold on to the football. Go down at the one. Do what you got to do because we do not want to take points off the board. Here versus the Dolphins in a quick game. Did I miss a play? Oh, boy. I think I missed a play. There was a really nice return route that I totally missed in this film breakdown. But here, versus zone, man, it was a really good one. Just imagine it. Imagine a nice return route. Foot jab. All right, this DB has inside leverage. Throw that foot jab, pull his leverage out, make yourself open. Ball doesn't end up going there. Now let's talk about him as a blocker. As a move blocker, right here, fairly solid, right? And can be borderline good at times, right? Nice crack block on the safety. Good job. Allows your running back to get to a crease. 43, or that's a linebacker. Good job. Here, lined up in front of this cross bar. Pick up Taylor Rapp, or not Taylor Rapp. Is that Taylor Rapp or is that Cole Bishop? I can't remember. Good job. Moves his feet. Put his ass in the dirt, right? Watching him full speed. He moves his feet well. He gets to a spot. Good stuff. Here against the Dolphins, right? Here versus number 11, DB. Bam. Right? He does good when he's got like that real deal size ability on a DB and he gets to use his speed and athleticism. Here out on this speed sweep, gets to a spot, moves his feet, keep driving. Should cut up off that, but regardless. But you're very rarely ever going to see him as an inline blocker. They try, and when they do, they try and hide him on the back sides of runs, and that does limit what you can do with him, right? It limits you. Now, they don't limit the Ravens' run game. They were great every year. But it does eliminate some of the things you're able to do in the run game and tie some things up. But it's not going to stop the Giants. But, here, right, we're just getting worked. And that happens fairly consistently when he's asked to line up and block in line, which is not often, right? Here on this short yardage play, we got 2 tight ends in, a fullback, and we just get worked. Right, and again, they try to hide on the backside of runs, but that does happen. So Isaiah likely is a good player. Obviously, his role is going to expand with the New York Giants. Be interesting to see how they mesh it with Matt Nagy, Greg Roman, and then ideally what John Harbaugh wants to do, working him with Jackson Dart. But he's got a lot of ability, and I'm excited to see him shine in a bigger role with the New York Giants. So again, hope you guys like this video. Please like and subscribe. Again, we get no money off of these, unfortunately. The NFL has decided that they need more money. They gotta keep the small creators down. So like and subscribe, check out our podcast. I do believe we're the number one stop for Giants football. Appreciate you guys. Until then, let's go big. Oh, and we got more coming out. Tremaine Edmonds, all the free agent additions, film breakdowns coming out. Let's go Big Blue.